Hey everyone, my name is Hannah. I am a birth doula and I share a little bit about my journey here on YouTube as well as on my blog, which is sacredsagewellness.com/blog, and here and there on Instagram. So I just wanted to share a few similar questions that I've been receiving lately about people who are interested in birth, interested in pregnancy and labor support, and want to become a doula but feel a little bit overwhelmed and don't know how to begin or where to begin. So I'll just read some of the messages that I've been receiving and then get into some of the specifics. So the first message says, I want to become a doula. The only thing is I have no idea where to start. I was hoping you could give me a little advice about things you wish you knew before becoming a doula to help me start on my own journey. Another one says, I actually just finished a Doula program about 2 weeks ago. I'm eager to start, however, I feel nervous to jump in. I've seen the tools, resources, and communities I need to start my doula practice, but I don't feel prepared enough to assist a client. Have you ever felt this before, or did you just jump in? Another one says, I'm asking for some guidance. I just got certified about a month ago, not sure where to begin or start. I'm going through the reading list, but overall I'm lost. I'd love if you could give some advice or guidance. Anything will really help. And another one says, hello, recently found your YouTube channel. When I was searching for information on becoming a doula, what tips do you have for someone who's interested in doula work? So I'm seeing kind of two types of questions. So the first question is, I'm really interested in birth work and becoming a doula. I have no experience or haven't begun the process. How do you suggest I start out? And then the other question I'm hearing is, I'm starting the journey. I have taken the certification workshop, and now I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to grow my business. I don't know how to get started actually being a doula. So I'm going to start on the first half of those questions, and that first half is, how do I start becoming a doula? So the first thing I will say for anybody interested in becoming a doula, the first thing is to research different certifying organizations. There are a number of certifying organizations. Some of them are small and local, some of them are through a single doula, and others are large, like international organizations. And just to share my personal story, I am certifying through Doula International, and I cannot say enough good things about it. So because of that, I wanted to kind of share some of the things I love about Doula. Just a little bit about Doula is, it is the largest and the oldest doula certifying organization in the world. In the just over 25 years that they have been a certifying organization, they have certified just over 12,000 doulas worldwide, coming from 53 countries, which I think is really amazing. They are nonprofit, and some of their beliefs in why they're nonprofit kind of trickle down into their training courses. And that has helped develop their code of ethics and standards of practice, which sort of is like their cornerstone for what they believe in, how they teach, how they differ from other certifying organizations. So those are sort of the umbrella reasons of why Doula has been such a strong entity in the doula world. The other reason I love it is just because of the community. So I took my certifying workshop, it'll be 2 years in January, and it has just served as such a wonderful community. I've met so many wonderful people. I've been able to be exposed to such wonderful things like webinars and conferences and groups online and in person. So I can't speak highly enough of Doula as an organization in general, but everyone's different. So the first thing when you're interested in becoming a doula is look into the appropriate certifying organization for you. So do your research, take a look into it, and just start to kind of break down what's important to you and what you're looking for. So the second thing I would say when you're interested in becoming a doula, after you've done some of your research, finding a good certifying organization that kind of speaks to your values, is to begin a large binder that kind of encompasses everything. I talked about this binder, I think in the very first video that I made, but I had a large binder that I kind of slipped everything into that had to do with my doula work and my upcoming preparation for the workshop. So in that binder, I included blog posts from some websites and blogs that I appreciated. A lot of them actually came from the Doula website. The second thing is academic research. So for your certification specifically for Doula, there are a couple of academic research journals that you have to read as required reading for your certification. So I've included those, and then some other things that I found on like PubMed and things like that that had to do with labor support. I also included any notes that I felt were appropriate that might just be like things that I'm passionate about, or things that I wanted to incorporate, questions that I had for my Doula workshop. And the last thing is the certification requirements for Doula. The certification requirements in and of itself can seem kind of daunting and overwhelming. So I made some notes on like, I'm really confused. It seems like it says two different things. Made notes, made sure that I was following through with all the questions I had noted with the instructor in the workshop. And honestly, I'm pretty sure like all of my questions answered in that 2-day workshop. So I'd say second thing, definitely just start a binder full of things that you're going to want to look into throughout your journey. The third thing to get started is to start reading. So whether you found a workshop that speaks to you and whether that workshop has required readings or not, just start reading. And if you don't know where to start, the first book that I would suggest, as always, is The Birth Partner by Penny Simkin. It is a really wonderful book for 2 reasons. It kind of breaks down the mechanics and physiology of birth itself, and then it also breaks down kind of chronologically, like as the woman's experiencing different changes, how a birth support person can assist in different situations. And then the last thing that I would say is to sign up for a workshop. But I truly believe if you have a passion for this, if you have a drive for it, then your place is somewhere in the birth world. And for me, the birth doula workshop was such a wonderful foundation for so many other things that I've been pursuing since I've been a doula. I was also telling someone on Instagram recently that at that workshop is really where you're going to find like your tribe, like your local community, just for like continued community. For anybody interested in any facet of the birth world, you know, if you're not sure if you want to be a birth support person, a doula, you know, I think it's just such a wonderful foundation to have that understanding of how can you support someone in labor? How can you support someone before they give birth, you know, during pregnancy, and how can you support someone in their postpartum period? So go sign up for it. Go do it. You'll not regret it. It is amazing, and it will just be so eye-opening for anybody from so many different backgrounds. I'm out of breath. So that kind of covers how to get started if you have no experience with the birth world, if you're not involved in birth work already. So here are kind of my tips and advice for people who have taken their workshop and don't know where to go from there to get started. The first thing I would tell someone after they've taken their workshop is to get started on your brand. The number one thing that I think took me a while to learn is that every doula is different. Everyone's going to be offering something completely different, and that is not only so needed but so important, and it should be celebrated. No doula is going to look alike, which is why I would say get started on your brand now. So take notes on what you feel passionate about before having any preconceived notions. It can be really easy, I think, to step into a space that is maybe unfamiliar to you, like birth work is for people starting out, and feeling like you have to conform to maybe what you typically see. So start to jot down all of the things that you feel passionate about. Think about why you want to become a doula, why you're interested in supporting women. And I would say like really hold on to those things throughout your entire journey. Continue going back to them, continue reevaluating them, possibly breaking them down even further or kind of developing them, because that is what is going to make you thrive in the community. It's going to make you stick out, and it's going to keep you, I think, passionate about what you're doing and want to continue doing it. It's going to keep you energetic. Along with that, I would say start a vision board, going along with, you know, taking notes on what you're passionate about. Start a vision board, maybe with words or images or something like that on things that you feel passionate about, so that you can take a look at it as you're going through this journey. In addition to a vision board, I would also say start doing some affirmations. You know, one of the ones that kind of stuck with me for the longest time, and I still have as part of like my info on my website, is that every birthing person, every woman, every family deserves a doula and deserves labor support. And that is what I truly believe in. And that's kind of how I stemmed my business. That's how I've grown my clientele. And I've held on to that throughout the entire process. So find some sort of affirmation or word that sticks with you, and again, hold on to it for the entire journey and reflect back on that as you continue on. So the second thing I would say to just get started building your business is to start a website. Have your name out there. You can start with a free trial on somewhere like Squarespace or Wix, or if you know you've known the name of your business for forever, you know what you wanted to include, then take the leap and buy your domain. That way you have it as a space for however long you purchase the domain for, to continue building it and growing it. For example, my company is Sacred Sage Wellness. I wanted to make it, I think, a little bit more broad, because I knew that I would continue to expand my services. Some other people feel really comfortable with their name, maybe because they're already an established lactation consultant. Get your name out there, get your website out there. The third thing, which I think might be the most important, is to get a profile set up on doulamatch.net. And this is one of the most wonderful resources for new doulas that I have seen. It has brought me so much business in my first year, and I'm still receiving business from it today. It's free for any doula to sign up. You can include additional services that you offer your clients. It is such a wonderful space to begin to get clients. The next thing I would suggest is to give a call to local hospitals and birth centers and ask if you can put your name down as a local doula resource for the community. A lot of times, birth centers especially will have lists like that. I would also ask those same places, those same hospitals and birth centers, if they have any doula programs that you could join. This is really a great opportunity for people who don't know how to get their first client, or feel maybe too timid to do your own like marketing and getting yourself out there. So the programs can look two ways from what I'm familiar with. The first is completely volunteer based, so you wouldn't be making any money off of the births you attend. And then the second would be you would make like a flat fee for the births that you attend. So basically, you typically would attend an orientation and your name would be put on a roster, and you would update your availability, whether it's monthly or weekly, I'm not sure, but you would let them know your availability, and you work with a team of doulas. So typically when it's your shift, you would probably be relieving a doula who had been there the first 12 hours perhaps. And if not, then typically if you are just going into a labor, you're the first doula, the first face that this family is going to be seeing, then in 12 hours, if the labor goes any longer, then you would be relieved by another doula who has the shift after you. And you can also always ask these clients of yours to write a review for you on your website. You can also post reviews on Doula Match that show up right next to your name. So it's just a really wonderful way to grow your business, grow your confidence, and put your name out there. Get some reviews. It's all wonderful. And the last thing I would say to get your business started, if you're scared to get started, is to reach out to other birth workers in your community. There are so many different facets and avenues in the birth world. There's lactation consultants, there's childbirth educators, there are birth photographers, there are, what else am I missing? Placenta encapsulators. The list totally goes on and on. It's wonderful to not only kind of get a feel for who you're going to be around, but also get a feel for what the community is like. Another thing that you can do is, in chatting with some of these birth workers, is ask if there's any way that you can kind of exchange your services, not necessarily exchange your services, but just say, you know, I have a client coming up. They haven't taken any childbirth education courses. I know you offer childbirth education courses. I'd love to give them your name. Is there any way that you might be able to pass out my business card at your next workshop? Something like that. So I've just noticed such a supportive community. I've noticed supportive doulas as well. So reach out to other doulas as well. If they're not willing to meet with you, then that might be a good indicator that they might not be the best person to work with. But there should be a number of doulas that would be more than happy to sit down and chat with you. There should not be competition in this world because it's such an intimate space. It's quite possibly one of the most intimate spaces. Families are going to be looking for different things. They're not going to want the same thing. So to feel competitive with someone else is just silly. You know, it's like selling two different products. I'm such a different product than the doula down the street from me. And we should be working together, especially to help, you know, raise awareness of what we do, help birth outcomes, and just kind of improve the birth world. I hope that answers the other side of this question, which is, how do I get started after I've attended my... So much burping when you're pregnant. I'm so sorry. I blame everything on being pregnant. But I hope that answers the second part of the question on how do I get started on my business? How do I start getting clients after I've taken the birth doula workshop? And how do I get started on my certification journey? And I had a lot of fun chatting with a lot of you on Instagram. Like I said, please feel free to message me on Instagram anytime with any questions. It's probably the best way to get in touch with me. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video.